Hello students, my name is Brooke Wren and today we will be going over the digestive system. We'll be going over the different parts of the digestive system, which include the mouth, the esophagus, the stomach, the large intestine, and the small intestines. We will also be going over the processes that the digestive system goes through so that we can get nutrients. And we're also going to talk about why we have a digestive system. So first, I want to go over the main functions of the digestive system. Now, these are all of the functions of the digestive system. So first is ingestion. Ingestion is the action of eating food, so it is when we put food in our mouth and chew it up. Digestion. Now, digestion is the chemical breakdown of our food. We also have absorption. We absorb our nutrients, so it's the ingestion of nutrients. In our intestines, we absorb certain nutrients, amino acids, fats, so our body will function. We also have defecation, commonly known as pooping, which is the expelling of feces or waste product that our body does not need to digest. Now, what does the digestive system do? So, the digestive system digests food, plain and simple. We eat food, and that food gets converted into energy. It gives the body energy and nutrients by eating and digesting food. So, if we were to eat this pizza, the carbs, sugars, and all of that proteins would go into our body and get converted into energy or be stored for later use. Now I'm going to talk about the first part of our digestive system, which is the mouth. Now, what a lot of students do not know is that digestion actually begins in our mouth, and that is because of our saliva. Our saliva has enzymes inside of it, and it digests starches, and our teeth actually crush our food to prepare for digestion in the stomach. Our saliva will mix in with our food, so it will make it easier for digestion, and it'll be easier to swallow whenever our saliva mixes in. It'll be easier on our mouth to have saliva because it mixes in with our food and allows us to swallow it more smoothly. And there are also different types of teeth. There are known as incisors, canines, premolars, and molars. Each of them have their own job, and I'll be going into what they do specifically in the next slide. We have salivary glands that help produce saliva for our mouth. Now, those salivary glands, there's one that is located under our tongue, which sometimes will squirt out saliva. If you think of something sour, it usually will water. That is one of them. Now we are going to go over the teeth. Now, like I said, there are 4 different types of teeth. So these right here, our front teeth, or the front bottom teeth, are known as incisors. Now their purpose is to cut our food through biting. Next we have canines. So these would actually be a little bit sharper because they tear at our food. So when you think of canines, you probably think of the word dog. Canines have very sharp teeth, and by canines I mean dog. And ours are pretty sharp, and they are meant to tear food or tear meat. Next we have premolars. Now our premolars are right here. So our premolars crush food. Next are our molars, they're back here. Our molars crush, chew, rip, and grind our food. And these all aid in our digestion because we need to have our food broken down so it will be ready to digest in our stomach. Like I mentioned, teeth help prepare the food for digestion. And adults actually have 28 teeth total. And if you get your wisdom teeth removed, then you'll have 28 teeth unless you have extra teeth for whatever reason. But if you don't, and you have your wisdom teeth, you'll actually have 32 teeth. Children actually have a different amount of teeth. They all have 20 teeth total. So the next system I want to talk, or the next part of the digestive system I want to talk about is the esophagus. So the esophagus is a smooth muscle that transports food and liquids into the stomach. So our food gets chewn up, mashed down, and down our esophagus and into our stomach. Next, I'm going to talk about the stomach. So the stomach is a very, 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 very important organ because without it, we wouldn't be able to really stay alive because it needs to digest our food and turn it into nutrients. So food is digested by stomach acid, also known as hydrochloric acid, and is a very strong acid, super, super strong, and is very dangerous if you touch it with your hands. So where does that acid come from? It actually comes from pyridial cells, which they secrete the hydrochloric acid into the stomach. Now, there are enzymes that break down our food in our stomach. There's amylase, protease, and lipase. So amylase turns starch into sugar. Protease turns proteins into amino acids. And lipase turns lipids into fatty acids. So as you can see, the esophagus is right here. So food will go down. It will go to the sphincter, which is right here. And the food will go into here. Rest of the bottom be digested. And then whenever it's ready, it will go through right here into the duodenum and into the next system, which we'll discuss in a bit. So I actually want to talk about the liver, because a lot of students would probably not believe me, but the liver is involved with the digestive system. And how it is involved is that it actually produces bile for our stomach. So bile helps with digestion. Bile goes to the stomach to help turn fat into energy for our body. So the bile is very important. Next, I actually want to talk more about the stomach and discuss bacteria, which is in our stomach. So there's actually bacteria that live inside of our stomach, and it helps us out by keeping bad bacteria away, reduce inflammation, and help our immune system. So this is actually known as probiotics, and you could actually take some pills to help aid them. I'm sure you've heard probiotics before. Our stomach can actually get hurt and have diarrhea when bad bacteria enters our stomach. So that is why it is good to eat healthy and keep our good gut bacteria up high. So here's the next system in the digestive system, which is the small intestines. This is where nutrients is absorbed in our body. So there are different parts of the small intestines, which are the duodenum, the jejunum, and the ileum. So first I want to talk about the duodenum. Now the duodenum is the first segment of the small intestine that helps absorb nutrients and water. So this is the first portion where your digested food will go straight into the duodenum. The next part is the jejunum. It is the second segment of our small intestine, and it absorbs amino acids and fatty acids and sugars. Next is the ileum. It is the last section, It is the last section of the small intestine where it finishes the chemical absorption of nutrients. So as you can see, here is the duodenum, the ileum, the jejunum, and the ileum is right here. This is the ileum, this is the jejunum, this is the duodenum. Next is the large intestines. The large intestines turn indigestible food into waste, also known as feces. It absorbs water and any remaining nutrients, if any, but most importantly, it pushes feces to be excreted. So this area is where your feces is made. Lastly, I want to discuss the rectum and anus. The rectum is located at the end of the large intestines. It stores feces and is held before defecation. And the anus is the opening that allows feces to leave the body. And that is the end of the digestive system.